We are driving down Grant Street in Chinatown in San Francisco, California. And Chinatown is, among other things, the most densely populated area in the United States outside of Manhattan. It is also the oldest Chinatown in North America. It was originally the port of entry for Chinese immigrants in the 1850s when they were arriving primarily from Guangdong province, which is in southern China. Where we're going right now is a place that claims to be the oldest dim sum restaurant in Chinatown. It's called the Hung Ah Tea Room. There are so many delicious things. We're going to head over to Hung Ah right now and we're going to try some dim sum for breakfast.
So back in the days, about after 1849, when San Francisco was founded, this was the first street of Chinatown. So as the immigrants wave and the population grew, Chinatown grew from Sacramento Street all the way to Broadway. It becomes the largest Chinatown in America.
Now my understanding is that this was the original port of entry from
Yes.
Chinese immigrants.
Yes.
And they were coming mostly from Guangdong province,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes. There's a couple villages within Guangdong province. They can't really make it. Their land couldn't really grow much, and then they are not next to the ocean, so they aren't fishing as well. The allure of coming to America was to dig gold, right? To bring gold and find gold and bring it back home and build houses. And we're here since 1920.
Now is this your family in the whole
no.
time, or when did you come in?
So we stumbled across this opportunity back in 2014. What we know of is there's at least about 4 or 5 families that ran this restaurant. And what really grabbed us is almost like a calling that we thought, hey, how cool is it for us, the Chinese American, to have the first dim sum restaurant in America? And we're able to basically put our stamp in this community and in San Francisco to say, hey, let's revitalize this. Let's bring this spot back to the greater public to know, hey, this is part of history. When you come to San Francisco, when you live here, you can be part of history and experience what it was like almost 100 years ago.
So where did the recipes come from?
So the recipe is passed down from generations to generations. So part of what our learning curve was to learn how to make every single thing. And the claim of fame for this restaurant is the barbecue pork buns.
Okay.
It's very unique. It's different from other Chinese restaurants.
The char siu bao.
Char siu bao.
So why is it different here?
It's much more airy, fluffy. We make everything from scratch.
Well, I'm really looking forward to trying these char siu bao. I love char siu bao.
Yeah, and then we'd love to have you guys. And now you guys are part of San Francisco history.
That's right.
And probably U.S. history.
Amazing. So my understanding is that the char siu bao is very good.
We're known for our barbecue pork buns here.
Okay. So I will have an order of that.
1 order of the barbecue pork bun.
I think I'd also like some of the ha gao,
1 order of hagao,
the siu mai.
siu mai.
What do you think? Should I get the feng lor too?
If you like it a little bit spicy, then definitely. The inside has minced pork, there's cilantro, peanuts, Chinese vegetables. It's a little bit spicy with a crunch to it.
Okay, I like that. That sounds great. Pot stickers.
1 order of pot stickers.
Oh, and we'll do feng jia too. We'll do the
And
chicken.
1 order, okay.
And then anything else? That's a lot.
It is quite a lot for 1 person. And something to drink for you also?
I think tea would be great.
Tea, okay. Be right back with tea for you. Right there, thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have a towers of dim sum. Dim City. Dim City 2000. Did you grow up in the neighborhood?
Yes, I did. My grandparents owned a grocery store on Stockton and Clay, right up the block here.
We lived in Chinatown when I was growing up until I was about 5. Used to play in this playground all the time. If I think back to all the way neighborhoods used to be when I was growing up, which isn't even as far back as some people know of, they're just much different these days.
Dim sum is sort of like hard to describe to people who've never had it. It's like a lot of little things and a lot of steamed things and like little snacks.
I would say it's kind of like like a Chinese like brunch tapas type thing.
Right.
They're quick about it here. If you go to the place with the carts, it's right away. So I think who doesn't love that? Especially these days, everyone wants everything right now. So
What's your favorite like dim sum item?
Well, the pork buns, steamed pork buns here, and learning how to cook, making dim sum items, I learned that that's probably very time consuming.
labor intensive.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
So I have a different favorite depending on where we're at.
Right.
And here, I think my favorite is the steamed pork.
You like the pork bun too. Well, Susie and Chauncey, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys. So why don't we just start with the bao here. Tender, slightly sweetened pork stuffed into this fluffy white bao, and the result is a really nice sweet savory combo. And these are good. I got to make myself a little sauce. This is very essential to the dim sum experience here. We're gonna do a little soy. We're gonna do a little vinegar. And I'm gonna put some of this chili oil in it. Dim sum sort of means like a little something to eat. This is sort of vaguely what it means. A lot of these things were sold in conjunction with tea houses. Little snacks to go along with the tea, like siu mai. Siu mai literally means like sell something on the side. This is pork filling. And then sometimes this is the little orange dot is sometimes roe, sometimes it's carrot. It's sort of like a thin, tender wrapper enveloping slightly sweetened ground pork. Let's move on to the hargao. Shrimp dumpling. Stretchy, vaguely chewy dumpling wrapper stretched around plump bits of juicy shrimp. That is what hargao is. Siu mai and hargao are the two classics that you generally get when you go to a dim sum place. But there are more, like the feng luo. This one, I believe, is also stuffed with ground pork. It's also this slightly glutinous wrapper, and it's sort of closed to look a little bit like a clamshell. A lot of these dim sum specialties are just kind of standalone little snacks, but these are good. This has the minced pork, the peanuts, the scallions, also delicious. Let's go into pot stickers. Love pot stickers. Kind of like crimped wheat wrapper filled generally with ground pork, cabbage, scallion. I love pot stickers. Every New Year's, we would make pot stickers, and we would do it manually. We would chop everything, no food processors. And what we would do to prevent, because you start crying when you chop the onions, we'd cut eye holes out of a little piece of bread and put it on our face and wear a little mask. It looks ridiculous. It looks like some Eyes Wide Shut shit, but it worked to not make you cry. It's like a very nice, compact, slightly greasy, slightly burned and brown and bubbly from the bottom of the pan. Love it. I'm gonna move on to the feng jiao to honor my grandmother. She loves chicken feet. These are declawed chicken feet. There's no meat, it's just skin. And then you kind of just like gnaw on it. And this is what my grandma likes. And you have to take bones out of your mouth as you're doing it. And it tastes very like sticky and gelatinous. It's like a layer of skin and then like a layer of tendon, and it's kind of like goopy, but it's like there's a little bit of firmness to it. If you like skin and cartilage, you'll love chicken feet. Chicken feet. Try some. I'm not sure what this is. This has the similar fluffy leavened wheat outside of the xiaolongbao, but this is filled with egg custard. This is what I thought. This is the char siu bao outside, filled with a sweet egg custard inside. And this is nice. A milky, sweet, smooth, creamy flavor. The soup dumpling or the xiaolongbao, and ideally you want the wrapper to be thin but not too thin, because you don't want it super thick, but at the same time you don't want it to break because you don't want the soup to get out. What is the proper way to eat a soup dumpling? I'll tell you. I'm just gonna put a little vinegar on it. If it was really hot, you'd bite into the side and you'd suck out the soup. And then from there, you just eat the whole thing. That is my preferred soup dumpling eating method. We have one more thing, and that's the little sesame balls. When I was a kid, I thought they were baseballs. And so we call them, and now in our family, we still call them baseballs. You can see sweet red bean paste on the inside. You can see that sweet, doughy layer. And then on the outside, it's crunchy sesame seeds. It's great. I love the baseballs. This is kind of the spread. This is dim sum. This is like brunch. Instead of, bottomless mimosas and avocado toast, it's shumai and hargao and bottomless oolong tea. And this place, Hang Ah, one, if not the oldest restaurants in the biggest Chinatown in the United States. So we love it. I love it. Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Dining on a Dime from Hang Ah Tea House in the heart of San Francisco's Chinatown. If you'd like to watch more, please click here.
Like this first,
Oh, so you're the expert.
and you make a little ball.
Oh, and you're making the little bubbles in there.
I'm gonna put in the air. 3, 8.